is another analogy that we've learned to help explain pain to patients. It's the analogy of the alarm system, which helps patients understand a little bit about how pain functions in the body, and then when the nervous system starts to have poor dysfunction, more dysfunction, and provokes sensitization in the body. So we all know that pain has an important role in our body and in our life to protect us. It's kind of like an alarm system. So if a burglar breaks into my home, the alarm system goes off and my husband and I get a text message alert, and the alarm messages the company and the police. This is a similar type of thing that happens in the body. If I touch a hot stove, I immediately take my hand away to protect myself from severe tissue damage from the burn. And then my brain kind of helps me decide, okay, is it really bad? Do I need to see a doctor? Do I just use cool water and some ointment? But what happens if this system starts to not work as well? I have a good example of this in my alarm system, which is a glass break sensor. The glass break sensor is meant to be installed in the middle of the house and will go off if a window is broken, indicating an intruder. But even after 9 months of living in my new home, that glass break sensor is sitting in the kitchen next to the kitchen sink, as much as I've asked my husband to install it. So what happens is, if there are dishes in the sink and I put another one in there, it kind of crashes and it sounds like glass breaking. And that sensor thinks that an intruder is coming through a window and sets off the alarm. It's not an intruder, it's a plate. And it could go all the way, if we didn't turn it off, it could go all the way to telling the police that there's a problem. But it's really just a plate. That is an alarm system that is too sensitive. It's not functioning correctly, and this type of thing happens in the body as well. Sometimes people may feel even just a slight touch may cause them pain. Or that the alarm system of the body telling them that there's major pain going on and affecting their daily lives may not be associated with any damage happening in the body or in the tissues at all. And this can be really problematic when that alarm system is constantly going off. And it tends to be more likely to happen if you've been experiencing pain for a long time.
So let's say I live next to Stephanie, and I'm Stephanie's neighbor, and her alarm system just will not stop going off. It is so loud that now it's keeping me up. Okay, I can't go to sleep, Stephanie's alarm is going off, so what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go knock on Stephanie's door and tell her to cut it out, like turn that thing off, okay? And so that happens in our bodies too. Sometimes pain starts in one place and then starts to move around. It moves from one house in the neighborhood to the next, where people get more and more frustrated. And there are lots of people who maybe your pain started in your back and then it kind of spread down into your leg, or maybe it started on your right side and then now you kind of feel it on the left side too. Some people have pain that moves and pain that spreads, and that's kind of like having nosy neighbors who after a while start to ask, what's going on with this alarm system? It's always going off. And the body has so much pain to process, it kind of starts sending it other places, and it starts to affect your neighbors as well. And so sometimes pain in the body can move. Similarly, each of those neighbors' houses have a job. They each play some kind of function in the neighborhood. And so when they're really busy standing outside of Stephanie's house about to have a riot because she won't turn her alarm off, they're not really busy doing what they're supposed to do. And so sometimes people might tell me that they just can't focus. That the pain is keeping them from focusing on the things they want to focus on. Or they have a hard time when the kids start yelling. It's just really overwhelming. Because the neighbor who lives in the house that's supposed to be processing what's going on with the kids is busy over at Stephanie's house telling her to shut up. And yelling at her husband to say, move the glass break sensor. And so for some people, pain moves. Now, that doesn't happen in every case, but if it's happened to you, it's not that uncommon. So we hope that this has been helpful, and hopefully this gives another way for you as a therapist to explain pain to patients in a really simple, down-to-earth way that can hopefully help them understand it a little better.
Check out our next video coming up.